Bonjour, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good today on this Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. My name is Trinity, and this is the Jezebelle Trinity podcast. Today, I just want to first apologize for not being there yesterday. I had some scheduling conflicts, and due to work and I want to say, I'll take accountability for not thinking ahead of time because I knew I was gonna not be able to work. But anyways, we're here today, and me and my co-host Wildcat. Say hi, Wildcat.
Honey and everybody.
We are here today just to give a quick rundown. We do have some other things we need to take care of, but we just wanted to check in with you and let you know that we're still here. We're still getting on our feet, getting our bearings and getting things settled so we can come do this regularly, come live and talk about some things, talk some shit. Not shit, but you know what I'm saying, so we can air things out open. But yeah, so just a few minutes today, and then we'll probably go live later this evening, maybe 11 or 12 tonight when time permits more time for us to share. But today I just kind of wanted to talk about, her and I were talking about, well, first thing is I noticed how when I moved, I guess how damaged I was from living in the environment I was living in. And now that I'm not living in that environment, I feel, I don't have to have my guard up. And I'm not used to it. And it causes a lot of anxiety in me. Anxiety that I feel like lives in me to a point where I'm functioning normal at a normal level at anxiety constantly. And then when it really gets high, it shoots way up, and that's when I noticed how how it affects me. And yeah, so we were just kind of talking about where we wanted to go with the show and what we wanted to talk about. And it seems like, oh, we need to heal our voices. We feel a little bit inhibited to say things just because. I'm going to give you an example. Like when I was living in my environment, and I'm going to be specific about this example because it was just recently. I was working at our women's domestic abuse shelter, and I'm just going to give a quick, quick example just because time is limited. And anyways, so when I was working there, I was a shelter coverage person on temporary contract, and that entailed just coming in and sitting with the what's that?
Shelter coverage.
Yeah, shelter coverage, and that used to be a volunteer position, and then it turned into a paid position. But yeah, so um and before that, the women's shelter was run and actually by some ladies, some older elder ladies that have all passed on. Rest in peace, ladies. And they were the originals. I want to just name some names like Martha Havokin, Donna Larson. Who else? Sarah Careful.
Sarah Careful. I believe Sue Wolf was a big part of the program at one point. Not all of them have passed, and then Sophie's been a big part of that program for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
And if there's anybody we forgot, definitely apologize.
So yeah, that program was run by a lot of traditional ladies, and they left a legacy, and that legacy is not being fulfilled right now. Um, but my example was, after a few weeks of working there, actually when I first started there, you know what happened? She she the director had interviewed me, and kind of went over. She was just like, "Oh, I know you. You're gonna do great back here. We'd love to have you." And she told me that what happens back there stays back there because they like to be out of sight. So they don't like others digging into their business. They like it quiet. What goes on back there is kind of, you know. So that was kind of like a red flag for me right away.
As far as let's clarify because it is a confidential program, but what exactly I guess did they teach? How did you take that, or what did she mean by it?
Oh, it was like she specifically said that she didn't want counsel or anybody digging into their business back there.
Okay.
And that was like as far as um what they do as far as work or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah, as far as anything. It wasn't specifically for clients. It wasn't a client thing because I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, this shelter coverage duties include answering the crisis line and um, working with the clients there. And I was told that there's been a few workers that came and left, and they couldn't stay. They didn't like the schedule, but you know what? There was no official training at all back there. No rundown about what happens when you do get a call. It was just like, here you go, there you go. And if you're 20 years old working back there, you don't know how to handle a crisis call. But yeah. So what happened?
And
What? Huh?
you would think it. You would think in an environment that's taking in people who just came from or just coming from or running, from a situation that their mental health is in jeopardy or has been affected, or alcohol and drug addiction or abuse that's involved, mental health disorders, things like that, trauma. So, dealing with things in that area, you would think that that would be an important factor.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that you get trained for working at McDonald's how to run the cash register and what goes down.
I'm just saying, as a survivor myself and being affected by some of these things and being I guess seasoned in them or experienced them, I still have difficulty dealing with other people who are going through these things.
Yeah.
So to have somebody that has no training or knowledge of that is kind of scary, to have people working that don't know how to deal with these situations.
Yep. And see, the thing about it is I got released from prison in November, and a month later I got contracted to work back there. So here I am decompressing from prison, and I told them right away. I said, working here, it kind of makes me, or it feels like I should be in here as a client. So I told them I had a hard time kind of um figuring out what's what. I mean, just as far as my feelings. And I just wanted to say that too, is like I wish that there, I wish, I mean, I hope someday that there is a place like that for people being released from incarceration, or, like in your situation, it took you a year and a half to get out on your own. When you were there, they have the money to help you get a place, get furniture, pay your rent, and get you situated, but you got kicked out. You had to do this all on your own with the doors being shut and nobody listening to your complaint. And you know what? I mean, this is what I'm just trying to bring up, is you and I are like seasoned freaking warriors. We've gotten up so many times that people that aren't used to doing that take it as a sign that there's something wrong with them. So they go back to the old life. And
Makes people feel like they're not deserving of help, and now this person just asked for help, and because of something they couldn't control internally because of like anxiety or PTSD, they get kicked out instead of, hey, let's help you figure out a way to deal with it, or yeah.
yeah. And yep. So, I mean, that happens to us, the older ones who have gotten knocked down and keep getting back up because we're used to it for so long. But, oh, it's just,
I know one thing that had happened with that specific director you're talking about, and it happened in a group meeting. She graced us with her presence that day in a women's group, and she was talking about people with mental disability, and she does the thing around her ear with her finger like cuckoo, and it's like, oh my god, the insensitivity to what people are going through. Now, how is that a healing environment when you can't even address people properly or in a respectful manner or consideration for their issue, or something that they can't help?
well, that's the thing. She's an accountant. She's got a degree in accounting. She has no background with any
Human
kind.
services, compassion, dealing with people, the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
There's, there's no there's no understanding of what it really is to be in that position to that person. It's just wake up and go to work every day. And if I take clients in, then that means we got work to do. But if I pick them out today, let's see who I can pick out and make it easier for us so that we don't have to do what we're put here to do.
Exactly. And what was really messed up is, while I was working there, I think there was one client left there, and they had asked her to go stay at her relative's house for like 3 or 4 days, um, because they were closed. So when there's nobody in there, they close, but she still gets paid. So they close it, and there's no work. I'm like, how does that work? How does domestic abuse shelter close when it's like a 24/7 thing?
Don't you kind of think that person is there because they don't have nowhere to go? So how can you ask them to go somewhere else when they already have nowhere to go? That is supposed to be their safe space and their safe environment. That is why they called to go there, was to have a safe place to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just wanted to kind of bring up, that's where I was coming from, like a small picture as when I seen what was going on back there, and I took a side and I didn't take her side or their side. Suddenly, I was doing something wrong, and she had called me and said that clients were complaining about me, staff was complaining about me, and then suddenly I was screaming at a client. Somebody saw me screaming at a client. So yeah, I
Why do I wish they would have gave me the video of her screaming over me in a house meeting, pointing her finger in my face, screaming and yelling, telling me to get the fuck out of the shelter, because told me I could ask a question, and when I asked that question, she totally avoided the question and got pissed off and started yelling and screaming with another staff member sitting next to me, whom also didn't speak up on behalf of the client. That's what they're there for. They're not there to protect this person. They're there to help those clients learn to live again and establish their life, and now we're just reintroducing them to that toxic environment. We're bringing them from one abuser to another.
and causing additional trauma
Exactly.
to deal with.
Now that person, they'll probably say, "Why even be here? I mean, this is the way I get treated where I was at, so I might as well just go back there." And
Yep.
then now you're taking children with you and putting them all in harm's way. So then when something happens to somebody, who's liable, who's responsible? Because that person was driven out of a safe environment, or what we are thinking is a safe and healing environment, when in fact you can't even smudge in the building.
Oh, that was the thing. That was it right there. When they heard that, I was smudging, and then they heard I was trying to get a hold of you to see what happened with your case. And they found out how close you and I were. That's when I started getting attacked.
Yeah.
That's when they realized I wasn't going to be a part of or picking that side. And my whole point about it is this, because the council backs them. Obviously, they're not doing anything to look into it but that's like a small portion of how the whole system operates there.
It isn't it. It leads back to the problem we have in a community with a lot of people saying, "Well, we don't have no workers. It's hard to get people to work." Well, why would anybody want to work for a system of piracy? Basically, you have to go to work every day in fear of your job. You're not allowed to speak up and do your job as you're there to do, because there's other people that want to silence people in the things that they see, and they don't want us to uncover what they've worked so hard to cover up.
Yep. And they just made that resolution too, that employees are not supposed to be bad mouthing the tribe on social media.
That's your freedom of speech. Hello. That should be your first few people that we're living under a white man government, and it's not defined for our people. It's proven itself. This is where we fit. Our people were never like this.
Nope.
We would never have done these things. We worked together. We lived together. But now we're so separate that one person is bigger than the other, and it was never that way.
And it's because of the positions they hold.
And those positions should be, people that hold those positions should be humbled that the people chose them for those positions. They're not a position of entitlement, and power doesn't make those positions operate any smoother. Respect is earned and not given. I don't care who you are or what age you are. That's the bottom line.
Yep, exactly. Well, lady, I'm gonna have to. You want to continue this later this evening then?
We will give it our best.
Okay. Well, I will get a hold of you as soon as I'm done, and yeah, let's pick it up about shoot, I lost my train of thought. There went that thought. It just kind of floated away. But yeah, join us tonight, you know. But we're gonna. Okay.
I will, DJ Quinn. Love you. You have an awesome day.
I love you too, Migwitch, for coming on and sharing our truth together. Together we're stronger.
Migwitch. You
Migwitch.
have a wonderful day. Love you.
Love
Peace.
you too. See you later. Alrighty, guys, we're cutting it a little short today. You know, we just had to go there because we have reasons as to why we feel inhibited to hold ourselves back to talk about certain things. And it's like, why should we be scared? You know, you have different shows that talk about President Trump, or different shows that talk about other people doing messed up things. You know, it's like, why we were scared of, well, not scared, but wondering if we could swear. You know, it's kind of we're just, you know, join us while we heal our voices. You know, maybe we can heal yours too. And all right, we will see you later tonight. We're coming on about 11 or 12 again. Pick up where we left off. And Miigwech for walking with us. Peace, love, 100% respect. And I love all you guys. I respect all you guys. You have a good night. Have a good Saturday. And I'll see you later. Miigwech.